Welcome to episode 171 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. I'm Ryan Walton. Today I'll be joined by the infamous Dan Reamer.
Infamous. I like infamous. I don't know if... Because it's like famous, but not necessarily in a good way.
Right.
It's more like being known for doing something you shouldn't have done.
Like you're shady, but people still like you?
Right. And I like that.
Yeah. Like you don't walk the line.
You tiptoe over it every now and again.
Right.
You do walk the line, but sometimes you tiptoe over it.
Right. Exactly. You walk it, but only kinda.
Right. Because sometimes you just got to push boundaries. You just have
you're
to.
grown.
That's right. And
you make your own choices. Right. And that's really the point. That's what we're getting at.
Exactly. I do what I want.
Yeah, you can't be put in a box.
Nope.
Controlled.
I'm not a sheep. I'm a shepherd.
Now, I played Rocket League this week.
Mm-hmm.
So last week. Someone called us a sheep.
Yeah, I was on.
Yeah, last week. 2 weeks ago.
No. It was like the night before you left for your trip. So it was like Sunday night.
Right. So I was in Denver all last week for a work trip. But before we left, we were called sheep.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't either. A follower.
Yeah, but I didn't understand it in that context.
Yeah, it didn't make sense in that context because I think we won that game.
We did win that game. We were...
So we beat them, and they called us sheep, and I don't understand.
Well, they scored on us first, and they were talking shit. And then we ended up beating them like 5-1. That was like the only... And throughout the course of us continuing to score on them, they just kept calling us sheep. Except for sometimes they misspelled it, and we were shep. But
right. And I'm not mad at that. Just make sure, ladies and gentlemen, if you play the Rocket League and you're one of those lovely people that talk shit, like think it through. Work it out in your quick chat before you get in there. That way you have it ready.
Right.
And just, have it make sense.
Yes. And understand, your insults... Okay, insults are useless if they serve no purpose for the context of what you're trying to be insulting in.
Right.
So, if someone is like beating you at a game, calling them sheep makes absolutely no sense, and it's just you wasting your time.
Right. Now, it did cause some confusion.
Yeah, we still beat them, but yeah, I mean, we were confused as to what they meant by it.
So maybe they were running as a distraction. I don't know.
I feel like they thought it was a legitimate insult because they kept saying it.
Right. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they meant something else.
It's hard to say.
Maybe they meant to say cheese.
I like cheese.
Me too. I don't consider an insult to be called cheese, but maybe they do.
I doubt it. Most people like cheese.
That's true. I suppose. I don't know, maybe they meant... Yeah, I don't know. I guess it had to be sheep. I got nothing besides confusing sheep with cheese. It's all I have. And really, that's kind of a stretch if you think about it.
Right, you're kind of pushing it there. So I was in Denver last week.
You were?
For work.
And you did not take the PS4.
I didn't. I took the Vita for the plane ride there. So flying down and flying back, there was seating issues. I flew Southwest. Anyone familiar with Southwest? It's just a fucking free-for-all.
Always is.
They do boarding groups, but you just sit wherever you want.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not in preferred or Group A, you're not sitting in an aisle or a window. That's just what's happening.
So you were in the middle on both.
Clearly. So in the first one, I'm like, there's 3 people behind me to get on. And so we're at the very back of the line. Like I'm fourth from the last to check in.
Okay.
So we're waiting and everything, and well, that's actually not true. I had an earlier boarding pass. I went to Quiznos because I was hungry, and then I missed my boarding group.
Okay.
So when I finally got on, I was fourth from the end.
Gotcha.
And so as we're waiting, they say, "Hey, we're overbooked." Which makes no sense at all. You know how many seats are on a plane?
Mm-hmm. No, it always happens.
Yeah, so they say, we're overbooked. We'll offer $300 if anybody wants to jump off. And I'm like, man, $300 is pretty good.
But
$300 and the price of your ticket.
Right, but
I'm going for work.
Right, there's a but. So you would not see the $300 or the price of your ticket.
Right. Well, no. So I would see that because it's under my name and everything. The way I work, the way my work's set up, and the credit card, everything, it's all under my name. And they give you a voucher, and it's fully transferable. You could give it to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, I'm going for work, and once I arrive in Denver, I have a shuttle with other coworkers waiting for me.
Right.
So I'm like, I really can't volunteer. But here's where it gets sketchy. No one volunteers, and they come back and say, okay, $400 plus the price of your ticket. I'm like, hot damn. We're talking $500 plus now.
Right.
In airline bucks to just wait. So I want to take it. I just know I can't.
Right. No,
So no one takes it. And then they come back there to us and say, hey, here's the deal. We're going to make people get off if we're overbooked, and we'll start from the back. So last to check in, first to get off.
And you were fourth from the last.
Fourth from the last. So I'm like, man, this could get me. I don't know how overbooked we are.
Right.
So we get on the plane, everything. It ends up being only one person has to get off, and but I got a seat between two business execs. They got the suits on and everything, doing work, super professional. Looked irritated that I had to sit there because they both had their suit coats in the middle seat, as if that was going to work.
Yeah. Especially when they're overbooked, right?
Right. And I actually believe that they worked for Gaylord.
Okay.
Opryland Hotel, because they were, at least one of them was flipping through information for the Gaylord's Hotel in Denver.
Okay.
So they're super uptight. No one's talking. No one's chatting. So I'm like, I'm going to do the grown-up thing, put my headphones on. Get my Vita out. Clearly. Because these two stuffy bastards next to me we're not going to talk. Which is okay. I don't need stranger talk.
I understand.
So I put my over-the-ear headphones on because I'm trying to escape. Get the Vita out, and I start playing Farming Simulator. Clearly, that's where you start.
Right. That's where you start.
Right. So what I noticed, though, and bear with me, it's a long story.
These guys are watching.
They're cutting some eyes over.
Uh-huh.
They want to see what's happening. They don't want to understand the farming.
Right.
So I play that for a little while, and then I'm like, let me jump to something else. So I jump over to Nova 111. We've talked about it before. Great puzzle game.
Yeah.
Now I'm seeing more eyes. More curiosity. So I play that for a little while. Now keep in mind it's a 2.5 hour flight, so I'm playing each game for 30, 45 minutes.
Right.
So then I'm like, all right, I think I've done enough Nova for now. I'm going to play Real Fishing. It's one I picked up during the last flash sale. So I jump on Real Fishing. They're done working. At this point, they're only watching me fish. Like I could feel the eyes beaming on me from my periffs. And like when I look over at them, they immediately look at anything else.
Right, because they don't want you to know they're interested.
Right, it's one of those situations. Like they're like, I'm not looking, but I'm totally looking. So the whole time I play this fishing game, that's what happens. And then this is the best part. As I'm playing it, the one guy just quits working and is just solely just watching at this point.
Right.
He's got his phone now playing something he's listening to, but he's just watching me play. The other guy then gets his phone out, downloads a game, not downloads, but pulls up a game and starts playing a game on his phone.
Good for him.
I was like, it's contagious.
It is contagious. That's what happens.
Yeah. So then fast forward to my trip home.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, I don't have to be back at a certain time. I'm totally going to take this money if they offer it again.
But it's not a problem.
So we go, I'm in the airport. Everything's good, waiting for the flight. They say, hey, we're overbooked. If anybody wants $300 plus the price of their ticket, we'll hook you up. Bam, right over to the counter.
Mm-hmm.
Walk up there, I'm like, hey, I'll take the $300 plus the price of my ticket, and I'll stay here. She said, awesome. The flight, if we can't get you on this one, the flight that you're going on is 12 minutes later. You'll go through Cleveland, and you have an hour layover there. I had a direct flight on mine.
Right.
So she said, we'll route you through Cleveland. Flight leaves 12 minutes later, layover. So I'm thinking, I'll be an hour and a half later.
Right.
That's perfect.
For $300 bucks.
Yeah, $500 plus when you take the ticket into account.
When you take the ticket into account, right.
Right. So
I'm thinking of the cash in hand, no, not the price of the ticket.
So here's what she says. Perfect. All that's great. You're the second person to volunteer. So board the plane as normal. If we need you, we'll pull you off. I'm like, all right. Okay.
They didn't need you.
We get on. This plane is fucking full. I mean, I go all the way to the back because she says, don't pass the seat up. So I walk all the way back, not passing a seat up. Get back there. There's some confusion. Anyways, there ends up being, you know how the pilots will just ride the plane to the next destination because they need them there?
Right.
Or the co-pilots or whatever they are. So there's a guy on there doing that. So he jumps up and is like, hey, I'll go sit in. And at this point, there's only 2 of us left up. He said, I'll go sit up front. Well, then the guy behind me jumps in that seat. So I'm the only guy standing up on the plane. There's no seats on this plane.
Right.
So I'm like, hey, $500+.
That's right.
No. They pull the person in front of me who signed up to switch and give me her seat. Even though I also volunteered to not go on this flight.
And you were standing.
And I was up. Yeah, she was in the seat, luggage in the overhead compartment, ready to fly. I was backpacking in hand. And they pull me.
Life is not fair.
They pull her and give her the $500+ and have me sit between 2 adorable old ladies who played cards on the tray tables all the way back.
Like, not with each other.
Yeah.
Like what? You were in between them?
No. They gave me the window seat.
These old ladies were
awesome. I was trying to go to sleep. So they gave me the window seat, and they play this like some sort of weird ass old people card game.
Bridge?
No, I don't know what it was. It was new because one was teaching the other. But they're on a tour.
Was it like spades?
I don't know. I played Vita.
Oh, thought maybe it was euchre.
I don't. This is irrelevant to the story. I found out why the flight's so booked. There's 42 old people who are touring the country as part of an old people group.
Gotcha.
And so this lady and her 3 other sisters were all on this tour. They were going from Utah to Tennessee, where they were going to see Nashville, then go on to Memphis, see Elvis Presley's home, and then going to Louisiana after that. So they were really cool. They left me alone. They did not watch me play Vita.
Understandable. They were too busy playing cards.
Yeah, which was upsetting. And I actually at one point shut it off, took a nap, woke up, and they were still playing cards. And they were super quiet. They were awesome. If every flight could be like that, I'd sit next to them.
Yeah.
But I didn't get my flight money. So Denver was a nice town. If we have any listeners in Denver, it was interesting. Downtown is like... so you know downtown Nashville.
Uh-huh.
Downtown Denver was like downtown Nashville if you spread it out across like 10 streets.
Okay.
But then you cut down the people on each street by like half.
Which is nice.
The 2 streets in Nashville that are heavily populated are like bad.
Yeah.
So it's not like that. But
for those of you that don't know, that would be Broadway and 2nd. Right.
So those, like, on the weekends, you can't drive through those really.
Exactly.
So this was still could have traffic. A lot of people on the sidewalks, but it wasn't crazy. Everybody's got a dog. Super like awesome atmosphere. The town is full of hipsters though, like in a bad way, full of hipsters.
Like in a bad way, like
yeah,
like I was. You need to explain this.
So hipsters aren't necessarily bad.
Right.
Like there are some hipsters where you're like, oh, they're doing their own thing. They just come off a little hipstery. These are full-blown fucking hipsters.
Okay.
Skinny jean wearing... Fedoras, big black plastic rims, lots of beards. Beards everywhere, dime a dozen for beards. All look like shit, too.
Uh-huh.
Just like joggers and fucking skinny jeans and skateboards and just fucking hipsters. Like, everybody's got a messenger bag on. Just strange. Like, I've never seen that accumulation of hipsters in one place.
Right.
The other problem, and I don't blame the city for this necessarily, very high homeless rate.
Okay.
So between the homeless and the hipsters, it's hard to find a normal person.
Fair enough.
We rode the train. That was quite the experience.
You've never done that before?
Never been on like a city train. Especially one that's like $4 to ride all the way through the entire city.
So was it like a train or was it like a subway?
It was like a train.
Okay.
So it was like a subway, but
Like a
above
tram.
ground.
Like a
Like a
tram.
tram.
Okay.
The light rail is what they call it.
Yep.
So all manner of people on there. Talked to some homeless people on the train. Talked to some normal people on the train. Talked to some hipsters on the train. The city's like super friendly. So that was very like welcoming. Not in the southern hospitality way, but in like a we're not dickheads kind of way.
Yeah.
Because nowhere's like the South when it comes to that.
Well, the thing about the South is it's all fake.
Oh yeah, certainly. And that's what I was going to go with the difference. Like I feel like these people meant it. Like
In
people would.
Denver, they meant it.
Yeah, people were like helping us like on the train. I'm like, hey, what do people do? And this guy's like super nice, and he's like, hey, check this out and go do this. And he got off at the stop we were at, even though that's not where he was going, just so he could show us where to go.
That's cool.
Like people were like genuinely nice to us. Whereas in the South, everyone will be overly nice to you, but just keep in mind they don't actually mean it. It's just you're born being told to be nice to strangers and be very welcoming, but we don't trust anybody.
You don't give a shit about them. It's true.
Right. So there's a good city. We had some good places. I'm glad to be home. Denver was a great city to visit. I was there for work, so I didn't get to do anything touristy. We did go to downtown most nights and eat. Also, the city bus is free.
Nice.
Which is something Nashville should have. But because it's free, there's like 2,600 people on the bus, I think, it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
And you just keep a hand on a wallet.
Right.
It's that kind of bus ride, because you're just up against bodies. But overall, it was a good week. I did start to go through withdrawals from not playing Rocket League.
Yes.
Like Thursday, I was getting a little shaky.
Was it Rocket League or the PS4 in general?
I think it was the noise the PS4 makes when you turn it on, that beep.
Okay.
I think that's what it was. Yeah, that noise, I think, is what was getting me, because I hadn't heard it in so long. I started to question who I was.
Then the music plays and you hit user.
Yeah.
And then it goes ding 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 ding.
So those were the things I think the process of getting on the PS4. Because when I walked in Friday, the first thing I did was turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't need to play anything right then. I just needed to turn it on and know that it works.
Understood.
So that was my week. I know it's long, but I did go out of town and we don't have much news, so I wanted to just cover. If we have any listeners in Denver, you have a nice city. You just need to clean the hipster problem up a little bit.
Not the homeless. Apparently the homeless are okay, but the hipsters need to be fixed.
Right. Well, I feel like the homeless is an issue you're going to have in any big city. The hipster's something that if you go now, you can get it under control before.
You can nip this in the bud.
Now, here's the other thing, though. The cool thing about hipsters is eventually they're going to weed themselves out when they figure out everyone else is a hipster, because it won't be cool.
Right. They're no longer ahead of the trend.
Right. Once they figure out, hey, everybody's doing this, we can't continue to do this anymore, it may just fix its own problem.
It could be. Maybe that's why they just let it go.
One other complaint. Put fucking ice in your water. Denver. You're grown, I get it, you do what you want. I asked the question, why is there not ice in any of my water? And I was told it dates back to this old, this thing you just grow up in Denver being told that ice is super bad for your teeth.
Huh.
So the entire city pretty much serves you room temperature water. It's not even cold. It's just room temperature. Like everywhere you go, they just bring you a big pitcher of water that's just been sitting out in the back that they fill up and just bring out to you.
You don't like that?
Now we put ice in everything down here.
I know you do.
We drink everything fucking frozen cold.
I know.
And I always like a straw because I don't want it clanking against my teeth. No straws in Denver either.
You don't need a straw because there's no ice.
There's no fucking ice in anything. Super weird. And if I could have left them with one nugget, it would be try an ice cube in it and just see.
Okay.
Now, how was your week?
My week was busy. Another busy week. I'm actually on vacation right now with my wife. I am sitting in a lodge at a brewery. My wife is out doing her own thing because I am obviously recording this podcast, because even my anniversary doesn't get in the way of this podcast. Look at that. Right. It's my anniversary weekend, and what am I doing? The podcast.
So how long?
7 years.
Awesome.
Married 7 years, been together 12. So we're just, we're staying at the lodge, and we're actually on the Finger Lakes Wine Trail. If you're not familiar with the Finger Lakes, they're in central New York. They're called that because they spread out. They're spread out like fingers.
Right.
But very, 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 very good wine country for whatever reason. It must have something to do with, obviously, the soil. I don't know the specifics of it, but so we've been hitting up. My wife likes wine. Breweries have recently come into their own here, so that's more my speed. Lots of good food. So that's kind of what we've been doing, is just hitting wineries and breweries and eating food. Good weekend. And then the podcast, of course, because
that's what we do.
Right. As far as before that, so that's 4 of the days. I am beginning to go through a little bit of division withdrawal. I've been all over Reddit this morning, keeping track of what's going on, because I haven't played since, well, actually I did play some Friday morning. I woke up early to play Friday morning before we left. So today's Sunday, so it's been 2 days. But yeah, mostly I've been playing the Division. I mean, they had the big free update on Tuesday.
Right, the Incursion's there now.
The Incursion, they've got like daily assignments, weekly assignment.
So the Incursion is like a horde mode.
It's similar. Yes, it's very similar to a horde mode.
How is it?
I have not played it yet, actually,
okay.
Because I do not have the group of people I play with. It turns they've made some changes now, so your gear gets a score too, kind of like
right.
Light in Destiny.
Right.
And the group of people I play with aren't quite geared up as high as me, to the point where I can't even go in the dark zone with them.
Huh.
Because the dark zone now is it's like 0 to 161 gear score, and then 161 plus. I'm 161 plus on my gear score. So I basically have no one to wander around the dark zone with until they get geared up. So none of the friends I play with are as high a level as me, so I can't really do any of the endgame stuff because they're not geared up enough. I've come and done a little bit of messing around with some random people that I've met, but not enough to put together a good group for an incursion or anything like that, or actually to be able to travel the dark zone with. So now it's kind of a waiting game, just to wait for my friends to pick themselves up. I told them they had this weekend to do it. I'm like, I'm going to be on for 4 days, so you guys can go through and level yourselves up, and then we can do this.
Because now's the time.
Yeah, because I'm not there.
Or we got to strike while the iron's hot, too.
But I was pleasantly surprised when the gear score popped out. My gear score started very high with the gear I had, so I've got some time and effort in. And you got to consider that a lot of what I've been playing has just been as a solo player, so I obviously have a lot of time and effort invested. That's all I played this week. I did. Our good friend Dustin, who likes to write in, we are friends. He didn't want to play Rocket League one night, but it was Tuesday night, and the update had come through, and I was like, I can't tonight, dude. Sorry. I want to. He understood.
Yeah,
he understood. He did. He understood. He was like, yeah, I get that. So he understood. But hopefully next week I'll be able to join up with him and we can play some Rocket League.
Yeah, I'm sure between the two of us, one of us will jump in.
Yeah.
And play a little bit. I probably will hit Rocket League relatively hard. Work is finally going to slow down for me. This trip was the last kind of hurdle I had. So I think I'm going to have a little more time to play. Now I want to bring up one important thing. When you're talking about the Finger Lakes.
Yes.
So they look like fingers.
Mm-hmm.
So this class I attended, it's with a lot of people from all over the country.
Okay.
32 people all over, wherever we have offices.
Okay.
So if you live in Michigan, stop fucking holding your hand up to show me where you live. I just want to be clear on that. That's annoying.
Because Michigan looks like your hand?
Apparently. Everyone from fucking Michigan holds their hand up. It's like, all right, well, so we're here, like the thumb. I don't fucking care.
Right.
I'm not pulling up a map of Tennessee to show you where I'm at. Tennessee kind of looks like a sideways hand. If your hand was long.
I don't know. It always reminded me of one of those signs you find in the fork of the road.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. But, like, stop showing people. Nobody fucking cares. In Wisconsin, hey, we're just like Michigan, too, if you turn your hand around. Get the fuck out of here. All right, stop that. Nobody cares what your state actually is shaped like. Just say I'm from, like, east, west, south, north, northwest. Like, give me that. That's what I need.
Central.
Yeah, smack
North
that in the
Michigan.
fucking middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't hold your hand up and point like I'm a fucking child. And it wasn't one person from Michigan. It was
all of them.
everyone from Michigan. Holds their hand up to instruct you on where they live in the state.
Well, that's like what I run into being from New York. Anytime I go somewhere. Where are you from? I'm from New York. Oh, I love New York. You've never been to New York? Yeah, I have. I love the city. Yeah, I'm not from that New York.
And that's why you've developed, like, the people that live where you live have developed upstate.
No, I'm no, upstate is not me either.
But people say things like that. People
say-
make, like there are...
People do say, oh, you're from upstate. No, I'm not from upstate. And they're like, well, what else is there? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
But people will say upstate in order to say, hey, I'm not in the city.
Yes, some people do.
Like, just to clarify.
I say Western New York.
But you have to say that because people automatically go to the city.
They automatically assume you're from the city.
Right.
They think that New York is just that island.
So the thing they also do here is, so if you're not from Tennessee, you know Nashville, you might know Knoxville, but you probably just know Nashville.
Memphis.
Maybe.
Most people usually know Memphis.
Everybody that I met wanted, oh, what part? Clarksville. I've never heard of that.
No shit.
Well, then why did you ask me as if you were going to know? Like, I know that you know one city.
Right.
So if my answer is anything other than Nashville, your response is going to be like, oh, I never heard of that.
That's why I always tell people, instead of saying Clarksville, I say, oh, it's about 40 minutes northwest of Nashville.
Yeah, I do that too. I say I'm in Clarksville, and they go, oh, I've never heard of that. I said, yeah, it's about 40 minutes from Nashville. And they're like, oh, I'd love to visit Nashville. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure you would. It's a fine city. But, Dad, don't ask questions when you don't, you know.
And you don't really want the answer. The only time you wanted the answer is if someone said Nashville.
Right. A lot of really good people in this training. Like, I had a great time going out to eat and stuff after. So, one of the people I was talking to, you know, up there quite a bit there, so you're big into video games, yeah. What do you play? Do you keep up with video games? No, not at all. Okay.
So why did he want to know what you play?
So does the answer to my question is completely irrelevant to you?
Right.
So I say, I'm playing a game called Rocket League. What do you think that is? A league of Avenger-type people who are shooting rockets at bad guys.
Is that what he said? That was the answer?
Yep. Close. Soccer with cars. That doesn't make any sense at all. Neither did your fucking game. Okay? I get that you didn't think car soccer, but neither did the hot garbage that you just thought I was playing. So listeners out there, if you don't know something, don't pressure people to talk about it with you. That's my one final thing for the week. Like, don't bother asking if you think it is a league of extraordinary gentlemen shooting rockets at each other. Which doesn't, the more I talk about it, doesn't sound so bad, but it's definitely not what Rocket League is. Very literal.
Oh, that's funny. Holy shit.
Damn.
Oh my god, what?
So, yeah. And I had to look that person in the eyes who was very intelligent and be like, no.
You couldn't be farther off, I don't think.
Right. Soccer, but with cars. What does that mean? So think of remote control cars in a dome-like type playing field where gravity's a bit sketchy, and you drive around and try to score. Where's the rockets come in? Funny you should ask. You've got a boost on the back of your car, a rocket trail. You can actually use that to fly. So they fly? Well, no, they don't fly, but they kind of fly. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. All right. This is why I don't want to fucking talk about it with you. But I guess you can't blame people for being interested.
No. You can't.
It's just tough.
I mean, it's good that they were trying to show an interest in what you were doing, but
exactly. You're right where I'm at. Like, thanks, but no thanks.
To be fair, you kind of let him into that conversation, and that wasn't very nice.
Well, okay, so
no. You kind of invited him to be stupid, and then he was, and it's not really his fault because you led him into that. That was very manipulative, Ryan. Manipulative.
It wasn't like so maybe I asked that question. They say, "Oh yeah, Rocket League. I heard that's the game where your car playing soccer," and I've been like, "Holy shit, awesome!" And then I would have went into the conversation. But what I wanted to see is I wanted to just check the baggage right up front. Like, let's see where we're at. And so when I say, "Tell me what you think Rocket League is," and you're like, Clearly, it's a league of Avenger-type characters who shoot rockets at each other. That's when I knew something was awry.
You should have said I said close. I mean, it does have the Batmobile.
Right. I should have said nailed it, and then got up and walked off.
Yeah.
So let's jump into some hard-hitting headlines. Like I said, these are going to be quick. They're very statistics-focused. Numbers driven this week
are our favorite.
Yeah.
Not really.
They get us rock hard. I love numbers.
Hey, don't get me rock hard.
Right. In fairness, I love the numbers.
You love the numbers. I'm not a numbers guy.
The raw data gets me going. So
weird.
Xbox One took a price drop.
Yes, it did.
We talked about it. Obviously, that's going to make them the best-selling system, right? No.
I don't know.
No. Still couldn't do it $50 off. Still not able.
Side note, apparently Microsoft has recently announced that price drop is going to be ending on the last day of April. So if it's something you're wanting to take advantage of, I suggest you jump right on there and do it now.
I was very surprised that they didn't win March.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I hate to say win. I'm surprised they didn't outsell the PS4, I should say. Because with that price drop, we talked about it. Everyone kind of on the fence who maybe had the money but just didn't know. I think those people would pull the trigger.
I didn't.
You're right.
I did try.
But you made another big purchase, so it's kind of understandable.
I did.
So
I did.
You know, for the people who had $400 in the bank and that they could freely spend, who were like, I don't know what I want to do, I could see them wanting to pull the trigger with that price drop.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Now, we are getting into the fog of E3 where people don't want to make any decisions until they know.
True.
So that could play into it a little bit. But the PS4 did outpace the Xbox One for March. Let's jump into the games.
Why not?
Always remember, brick and mortar, U.S. only, not including Walmart. And the list, the order I read the systems in is the order that they sold best in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you've seen this list, right?
I have.
Okay, so there won't be any quizzes then.
There wasn't going to be a quiz anyway, just so you know.
Well, I was gonna see if you could guess.
If I could guess what?
5 of the top of the 10.
Oh,
but you've seen the list. So
I have seen the list. I don't know that I would have. No.
Yeah, the list is kind of weird.
I would have gotten.
You would have got number 1, number 10, and I'm going to say number 2. Maybe number 4 too. So you would have been close.
I wouldn't have got. I might have got 4. I would have got 5.
Okay, yeah, I would have not got 5. I would have definitely not got 7. So coming in at number 10,
and I probably would have gotten 8.
Number 10, most people are going to get this one. Minecraft, Xbox 360, PS4, Xbox One, and PS3. Number 9, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Xbox One, PS4, Xbox 360, PS3, PC.
I feel like that might have something to do with the price drop.
It could.
Because that's really the only game that the Xbox One has the leading sale on. as far
And
as
for
the
most
game
people,
goes.
that's going to be the one that you pick up first.
Right. And otherwise, I don't think you'd see Call of Duty on this list, to be honest.
I don't know. That's such a strong seller.
I guess.
Where are we at?
Number
8. NBA 2K16. PS4, Xbox One, 360, PS3. I don't think this game gets enough love. It stays on the fucking list like all year round.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing what they do. Number 7, I would definitely not have guessed this. The Pokken or Pokken, whichever you prefer, tournament for Wii U. I like Pokken tournament because it sounds like more fun if I'm out there poking.
I think it should be Pokken because it's more. It's Nintendo, so I
Well,
feel
it's Tekken cross Pokemon.
I understand what it is.
So it's
Pokken,
probably.
you decided.
But Pokken is more fun. Number 6, MLB The Show 16, PS4, PS3. That game's beautiful like always. Would not have guessed this. EA Sports UFC 2, PS4, Xbox One.
Yeah, I think I would have got that one.
Really?
Yeah.
UFC's major. I just don't. I played the was it the beta or the demo for the first one? It was fun. I don't know that I'd want to buy it, but I certainly had fun with it.
Oh yeah, it's not for me, but it is for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Did you just have a phone ring?
No.
What was that noise?
So my phone made noise, but it wasn't a ring.
Oh, okay.
It was not. It was a chirp.
It was a chirp. I thought it would start to ring, and you cut the volume off real quick.
You know I'm not that quick.
Oh.
I mean, that would have been cat-like.
Well, I don't know, but now you got to remember, you're down in lower altitudes. You're used to that. Higher altitude, it was harder to breathe. You might be quicker now.
It was a bitch to breathe.
That's what I thought. That's
Yeah.
my thinking.
I think I still have some jet lag, though. I'm feeling a touch lethargic.
Okay. Lethargy is never good.
Now, you had a phone make noise.
It actually vibrated. It did not make a noise. It vibrated.
The vibration then made the noise.
It did.
It seems like we're texting each other, but we're not. Which is strange.
No, we're
number
not.
4, Grand Theft Auto 5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS3, PC. That game will not leave this list.
Nope. Still on strong.
Number 3, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD for Wii U. This shows you the thirst that people have to play a good Nintendo game on their Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
2 exclusives, both on the list.
Definitely a weird one.
And one just
Both
a
of them,
remake,
really.
yeah. Number 2, Far Cry Primal, PS4, Xbox One, PC. And coming in at number 1, no shock, The Division, PS4, Xbox One, PC.
Yeah. Few surprises on here, but
Is Pokken Tournament your biggest shock?
I think maybe Twilight Princess HD is. Just because,
That's an old-ass game.
yeah.
But it's not so old that it's in again?
No.
Or maybe it is.
It's not. It's just that people with the Wii U want something to play.
Right.
They have not gotten a new Zelda yet, so they're doing what they can.
This is typical Nintendo. This game has now been on 3 platforms already, though.
Right.
Because, remember it was a split launch with the GameCube Wii.
GameCube and Wii.
Yeah. Make some new shit, Nintendo.
Next story. 10K a day. Years after its release, Minecraft continues to sell just like mad balls.
Mad balls.
Mad balls. According to the New York Times, it's selling 10,000 copies a day.
That's fucking insane.
That's crazy.
Insane. Who doesn't have it? Who is left?
Yeah,
Where do
I
they
don't-
find 10,000 people a day?
I don't know.
This story
crazy.
is super, super interesting, and we're not going to go into a lot of detail. It's a New York Times article by Clive Thompson. It's super, super cool. Mm-hmm. You can just pull it up online, search for
The Minecraft generation, I would say.
correct, yeah, Minecraft Generation, New York Times. It's super, super cool. The layout's awesome. It's got really good illustrations. Totally worth reading. I was blown away by that number. 10,000 a day still.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Everybody went bananas when Microsoft spent that money, and they're like, what are they doing? This is what they're doing. Like, Minecraft is bigger than video games. It's bigger than entertainment. It's fucking massive. And this is a very, very good read. It's not too long. just interesting to see how fucking major this game is.
Minecraft is.
I mean, you can't go out without seeing a kid in a Minecraft hoodie.
Yeah, or with the toys or the Legos or...
Yeah. Oh, man, the Legos are fucking huge.
Yeah.
Minecraft is amazing. And it goes to show you, like, it's not always bigger. It's not always better. It's not always faster. Like, sometimes something is just special.
Uh-huh.
Because it is uniquely itself. Not unlike this podcast, listeners. So if you feel that way, maybe go to iTunes, give us the stars, give us the 5 stars, maybe give us a thumbs up on the Stitchers.
Give us a shout out on Twitter.
Yeah, we'd love a shout out.
Facebook.
Sure, that's a thing.
It is.
Give us a shout out somewhere. Let other people know. Maybe you do it the old-fashioned way. You walk in Starbucks and you scream, "Listen up," and help tell people about the official Gamestitch Podcast, available on all major podcast providers.
Maybe you own an ice cream truck. You are an ice cream truck operator.
Yeah.
Feel free to, instead of playing that crappy music, to just let everyone know about Minecraft as you're cruising down the street.
Yeah. Or this podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're a police officer, you do a desk pop and announce this is a good podcast to listen to.
Uh-huh.
And put your firearm away and go straight to see the chief.
Maybe if you're a hostage negotiator, you pull out the megaphone and let everyone know how awesome Gamestitch is.
What if you pulled out the megaphone, the bullhorn, I like to call it, and you just played an episode?
You could do that.
And everybody's like, "What the fuck is happening?" The guy's like, "I surrender because I don't know what's happening."
Right. Or because he wants to listen to more Gamestitch.
But that's a dandy podcast.
Yeah.
Or he changes his negotiations to a car full of gas, a plane ready to go on the tarmac,
and an MP3 player
with
every Gamestitch podcast on it.
Because I'm going to need something to listen to as I evade authorities.
That's right. As I head from my country with no extradition.
Yeah. God, we nailed that. We nailed that self-promo. Next story. Have you heard of the Miitomo?
I have.
And if you haven't, that means you haven't been listening to this fucking podcast.
That's right.
And that's pissing me off pretty hard. So some early stats are out about Miitomo. So this is for those who just started the podcast this week. Miitomo is Nintendo's first mobile game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a social platform. Now I know that you're not too into it. I like it.
Oh, I mess around on it, but
you got to commit.
Yeah, and I don't have the time to commit because I'm committed to too many other different things.
So these stats are coming from SurveyMonkey Intelligence. So over 2.6 million downloads last week alone.
That's a lot.
That's across Apple and Google.
Yes.
So basically, it's staying up top on the charts.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly 2/3 of all downloads are on iOS. This is interesting. More monthly active users than the entire amount of people in New Zealand.
This is just a random statistic that is just...
Here's what I like about this statistic. They could have picked like a U.S. state, probably.
Right. Instead, they picked a country.
Right. Because it's and everyone has heard or knows of New Zealand. So to say more people are playing this game than live in New Zealand... Because most people think New Zealand's pretty big, right? If I said like Rhode Island, you'd be like, well, that's fucking tiny.
Right.
But New Zealand, you're like, that's a whole fucking country. That's a lot.
But however, just to keep this in perspective, to be fair, every app out there has more users than the entire population of Antarctica.
That's true. It's not wrong. Now, on average, these users are playing 2 to 3 sessions a day with only a total of 7 to 8 minutes per day.
That seems right.
Which, I mean, I think if you'll agree with me, if you could get 7 or 8 good minutes, you're pretty proud of that.
Yeah, then... Yeah.
Yeah. So what does this translate into? Are they making any money at all?
$280,000 a week.
I think we'd all take that.
Hell yeah.
It's not Clash of Clans money. It's not... What's the new one that Supercell does? Clash Royale. It's not that kind of money. But $280,000 a week is a damn fine start for your first mobile game.
Oh, yeah.
That is not even really a game.
It's just another... It's like Nintendo's version of Facebook or Twitter.
Yeah. Now, I'm enjoying it. All I do... I'm definitely in that 7 to 8 minute tier. I jump on a couple times a day. I do the things that get me the points so I can unlock stuff in the future, as I assume they will continue to add rewards.
Right.
So I log in every day. I have every daily bonus since it's launched. And, you know, even through work stuff and traveling, like, I always made time for Miitomo. Because it is a 7 to 8 minute experience. But I'm shocked to see $280,000 because I've never felt compelled to spend money on this game.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Like, not once have I got the urge to say, I need more tickets or I need more money.
So you haven't spent any money, right?
No, $0. This has been completely free for me.
Yeah.
I've been playing it for like, you know, I don't know, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 days now, every day, and not spend $1. So I just thought these were interesting because I was wondering, like, what's the end game with this? Because to me, I didn't think they were going to make tons of money off this. I thought it was just to dip their toes in and say Nintendo's here.
Right.
I was wrong. This game is making damn good money.
Yeah.
$280K a week.
It's probably making more than they are on Wii U sales.
$1 million a month. $1 million a month on a wacky me simulator.
Yeah.
On the same game as Tomodachi Life that you can go buy for $40. Just adapted to the
social space on your telephone.
Yeah, with less features. They did just release the pineapple suit in the drop game, though, which I'm trying to get real hard. I got the top, but I want the body because I like pineapples a lot.
I know you do. You're a pineapple guy.
Yeah, I am.
I know.
Something about it. It's a bitch of a fruit, but I love the flavor.
Yeah, real good flavor, impossible to get into.
Yeah. It's one of those fruits also, from the outside, you're like, I'm not eating that.
Then you open it up and you're like, what is this?
This is lushy,
deliciousness.
Pulpy, tropical masterpiece. And I'm a big fan of the coconut also.
Yeah, you're a coconut guy? Like, you actually like coconut?
Yeah. I like
not
coconut.
Just, not
I
just the milk? You like
Nope.
actual coconut? Okay,
Yep.
good. So you can eat an Almond Joy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Sometimes you feel like an Almond Joy. It's never just a Mounds.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
No. Always feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Here's what happens when I eat a Mounds. I'm like, where the fuck is the almond?
Yeah, I know. Almond Joys are better. And I think it's because Almond Joys are also milk chocolate.
Could be. I'll tell you what else I like is it's one fucking almond. Like, they don't go crazy.
No, they put one on it and
One per piece.
Cover it in chocolate. They basically put a piece of one almond on top of a clump of coconut, turn it into like a sushi shape, and then cover it in chocolate. And
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's perfect, though, because all they're doing is giving you, like, a texture. Mm-hmm. Because a Mounds is kind of like a mush.
A little bit.
Once it enters your mouth.
Yeah.
But Almond Joy, you have something to grab onto.
Uh-huh.
Like that
agree with
coconut
that.
pops.
100%.
It's a damn good candy.
It is. Everyone
so-
should eat an Almond Joy in their life.
So I love fresh coconut, but it's a real bitch. So I don't do it often, and I do drink a lot of coconut water. Now that was something that I didn't immediately love coconut water. Mm-hmm. The plain ones are okay. I really like the pineapple flavor though, because those are my two fruits.
Right, pineapple and coconut.
Yeah, so it's interesting. The pineapple, but I need the costume for Miitomo.
Understand.
I just want to remind listeners how we got here.
You need it just because it's a costume.
I don't need all the costumes, but I do like that one a lot.
We needed that stupid cat one.
There's nothing stupid about that cat.
That one is not cool. That costume is not cool.
No, I've been wearing the T-Rex outfit.
I haven't been on in a while. I'm on vacation.
It's full. Yeah, I mean, it just takes 7-8 minutes a day.
I know. I don't have 7 and 8 minutes a day
Yeah, you do.
when I'm on vacation.
You
with my
make
wife.
Miitomo time.
No. I'm afraid not. I was lucky to make podcast time, so.
So this next story is bizarre. It's everywhere. We're not going to go too crazy on it. I
I'm
just
gonna-
want to...
And it's super confusing, so I'm going to let Ryan run through it.
Yeah, and I'm just going to catch people up. So several weeks ago, we talked about what was going on at Take-Two and Rockstar. So basically, the story starts off very simple with the announcement that Leslie Benzies is leaving. Mm-hmm. His name's said a lot of different ways. I'm going with Benzie. I like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I like that one too.
So he's leaving the company. He's been with the company for a long time, responsible for all the major Rockstar games, you know. Besides the Hauser brothers, he is the man.
Mm-hmm.
So this announcement came that he's leaving. Everybody, you know, nobody really knew too much about it. Well, the dirty laundry's starting to hang out now. He's filed a lawsuit against Take-Two Interactive and the Hauser brothers for $150 million in unpaid royalties. He's saying basically he didn't leave. He was forced out. So the original story said that he went on sabbatical and then never decided to come back. His side of the story is he was told to go on sabbatical, tried to come back, badge didn't work.
And got escorted out by security.
Correct. Like, not allowed to be here. So through all this, it ended up being a 17-month sabbatical. And he was asked to... So he says he was forced out of the company by Sam Hauser and didn't have a say in whether or not he comes back. This story is going to get messy real quick because the first thing Take-Two did was file a countersuit.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that Benzies resigned from Rockstar without good reason and thus is not entitled to any royalties. So this is going to go through the court system. It's going to be messy, and I'm sure we're going to get a lot of details. I just know I remember us glossing over this, or at least I think we did.
Yeah, we did.
Because him leaving is a big deal, and we weren't really sure what happened. The story's going to be everywhere. We're probably not going to keep talking about it until we get some firm details on what's happening and what really came out. And it probably
because until then it's all speculation, and we've talked about why we don't do that.
Right, but what I can say is that this story is weird.
There's so many weird stories lately. Like the same thing with the Konami and.
Man, I would love to and we'll probably never get the whole stories.
No, we won't.
And it sucks because, this is so interesting to me. Like, what happened? This guy has been on the forefront of everything you've done as a company.
Yeah.
What happened?
And okay, here's the thing: is somebody is lying.
Sure, right.
Without
just like
a
the
doubt.
Konami, just like that situation.
Because there is no way one guy can say, they made me go on sabbatical and wouldn't let me come back. And someone else can say, well, he just decided to go on sabbatical and never come back. One of those is lying, because those are just way too far apart for the importance of where they hold in their company. For there to be that misunderstanding is not a viable explanation for me.
Right.
Somebody is lying.
And there's like I said, there's tons of speculation out there you can go and read. One of the major things is that people say Benzies wanted to move more towards Grand Theft Auto Online, while the Hauser brothers wanted to focus on what Grand Theft Auto had always been, excuse me. And that's ironic because what's made all the money is Grand Theft Auto Online.
Right.
So who knows what really happened? And with this one, we may get more details than Konami Kojima because it is going to go through the court system.
Because of the legal process, yeah.
Right. But these untold stories, I can't wait for somebody who was there to leave these companies and write these stories because
I want to know.
Super fucking interesting.
I want to know.
Super interesting. So keep your ears to the pavement. And like I said, when we get details, we'll talk about them as that goes on. If we get details, I guess I should say. If and when we get details. So you've been on vacation.
I have been on vacation.
It is, however, your week for Gone But Not Forgotten.
It is.
Hashtag GBNF, where we reach back in our gaming past, we dust off an old classic, something we loved, something we want you to love, and we talk about it. Maybe you go watch a video, maybe you pick it up at your local game retailer, or whatever it is. But we just want you to know this is a game that we love and we haven't forgotten about.
That's right. It's interesting that we talked a little bit about Take-Two Interactive, because the game this week is from 1994. It was released for the PC, the 3DO, and the Macintosh computer. Remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was developed by Take-Two Interactive. It was published by GameTech, and that game is Hell, a cyberpunk thriller.
I remember Hell.
Do you remember this?
I do.
All right. It was a point-and-click adventure game. It was basically one of the first CD-ROM games that used speech and high-res high-res graphics. And it had some big names in it at the time, I guess you could say. It had Dennis Hopper, Grace Jones, Stephanie Seymour, who was a big model in 1994. She was a big deal. And Jeffrey Holder were some of the major one. It was interesting because they appeared as live-action footage, while the rest of the cast lended their voices to computer-animated representations of themselves. And basically it's set in a dystopian future, because we all love dystopian futures.
Right.
U.S. is under the control of a fascist theocracy called the Hand of God.
Damn.
And basically what this government can do is send criminals and insurgents to hell, and sometimes bring them back. So that's kind of like what it does. That's like the punishment is it's sentencing them to so much time in hell.
I do not pass go, do not collect $200.
Right. You go to hell for a certain amount of time, and then you can come back. It was told in a third-person perspective. There was a couple of... you controlled one of two players, either Gideon Ashante or Rachel Brock. They were agents of the artificial reality containment known as ARC, which enforced bans on cybernetic technology in general and virtual reality in particular in the game. So for whatever reason, and as we eventually find out why, but basically the cyber tech and virtual reality has been outlawed by this Hand of God theocracy. So essentially what happens is they become involved, and whichever one you play in becomes involved in a big conspiracy, and they're trying to figure out what's really going on. They get sent to hell, they come back, and basically, and by the way, since it's been, 23 years, I'm not worried about spoiling it for you. Basically what happens is the reason that the government has banned this is because they have been doing experiments, and this hell that you get sentenced to is actually a virtual reality. So they are actually holding on to that tech for themselves. That's why it's been banned for everyone else. It's a lot of fun.
They're in the Oculus.
Yeah. So basically, you go back and forth to hell trying to figure out what's going on. Solving codes, like all of your point-and-click adventures, figuring out different codes and stuff. The big thing was really that there was so much writing, so much voice work for 1994. It was a big deal. And now it's not. I mean, but you're probably talking, it probably had more voice work in it than, probably as much as the Mass Effect games. And you're talking 15 years before. So, kind of the first of its time to do that. It's really interesting. Dystopian futures were, pretty common at that time, but it really kind of went in depth and explored them. Real interesting characters that they created in it, particularly Dennis Hopper's character. I had a lot of fun with this game. I actually played it on the 3DO. It was one of the games I spent the most time with on the 3DO. That and probably the FIFA of the time, which was FIFA 04, I think, FIFA 03, or FIFA 93, 94, whatever. I think it was FIFA 95. FIFA 95. But anyway, that's a story for another time. But just check out some of the video. I mean, it doesn't hold up great, but for the time, it looked really good, which a lot of these games that we talk about, that's kind of how it's going to be, because we're talking about them so long ago. Check it out. Hell, a cyberpunk thriller, Take-Two Interactive, published by GameTech. Check it out. You can find videos on... It might be available on Steam. I'm not even sure.
The video's definitely on the YouTubes, though.
Oh, yeah. It's on YouTube. It's because I watched some of the videos.
That's this week's...
When I was researching it.
Gone But Not Forgotten.
That's this week's Gone But Not Forgotten. Hell, a cyberpunk thriller.
If you have suggestions for us, again, that you think we should bring up, or maybe just want to jog our memory, be sure to hit us up on Twitter at @game_stitch using the hashtag GBNF, or say, hey, fuckers, remember this? That'll work too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't get offended easily.
Right, now, or at all.
Yeah, I guess, kind of. Or at all. We do get offended, but we don't care that we get offended.
I don't. It's hard to offend me.
Yeah, it's tough to offend me as well.
Maybe there's someone who's periodically on here that gets offended really easy. Maybe there's not. If you're a listener to the show, you'll know what the fuck that means. If you have questions, comments, or concerns for this show, be sure to write into us at podcast@gamestitch.com. Or, like I said, hit us up on Twitter at @game_stitch. If you want to reach out to us individually, I am at Podcast Ryan. Dan, you are at Tolhurst2002 on Twitter. Play some games with us. We're wanting to do more community things. We are busy, but we'll try to make time here and there. Also, toss around the ideas of maybe doing some group activities together.
Some Gamestitch nights.
Yeah, and maybe some competitive versus some listeners,
so to speak.
So that could be interesting and something we can look at if anybody's interested. But, reach out to us, make it more of a community. And like I said earlier, if you have friends that don't listen to this podcast, at least tell them about it so that they can give it a listen and see if this is their thing. Because we want to grow, and we want to grow with the people who are already listening because you guys have been there from the beginning. It's heartfelt, right?
It was heartfelt.
Yeah. I was trying to pull on some strings.
Some of the heartstrings.
Yeah, give it a good tug to a heartstring.
Yeah.
So, we really do appreciate you guys. Remember, the podcast is available every Monday at 6 a.m. On iTunes. It hits all other services shortly thereafter. And you guys know because you've been supporting us, but we are available on YouTube. Talked about it for the last couple of weeks. You can find us on there and listen to us. There is no video to accompany it, but it is the full audio in case YouTube is something you can do at work that is easier than trying to download a app or play it off of Stitcher or something on your computer at work. So we are on YouTube, starting about 10 episodes ago. So, you have anything else before we sign off?
No.
All right, no. We end each and every episode with a segment we like to call One Final Thing with Uncle Dan.
This week is no different.
Yeah?
This week is no different. My brother and sister-in-law visited this week, and they have a young child, a young baby child with them. And my wife adores the young baby child and starts singing a song. And the song she starts singing is Bingo. Remember the song? Bingo?
Like the
There was a farmer?
B-I-N-G-O?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I do. I'm from the South.
Right. Well, here's the thing. My mind got fucking blown because I'd never thought of this before. My wife singing to him, there was a farmer, had a dog, and Bingo was his name-o. Because that's how it starts.
Yeah.
Is Bingo the name of the farmer or the fucking dog? I always assumed it was the dog. But if you go by making it grammatically correct, that's the name of the farmer.
So, I see where you're at. I think maybe you're overthinking it. Bingo's the dog.
How can you be sure?
Because no one fucking human is named Bingo.
That's not true. That's not necessarily true.
How many Bingo Walkers have you met?
It could be a nickname.
Bingo Smiths.
It could be a nickname.
Bingo Williamson.
I'm just saying, it could be a nickname.
Bingo Gutierrez.
Gutierrez.
I can't be wrong because it's a name.
It sounds better as Gutierrez.
What about Bingo Rodriguez?
I like that too.
That's pretty fucking good. Maybe that should be an alias. Hey, I'm Bingo Rodriguez. You're like, no, the fuck you're not. Your name's not Bingo. That's the dog's name.
But you wanted to see my conundrum.
Yeah. I think if you break it apart, it could go either way. What if they're both named Bingo?
Well, then your mind's really blown. Because
Bingo
what happens when the wife calls for Bingo?
It's just fucking both of them show up.
Yeah, it's just a fucking mass of chaos.
Yeah. I mean, Bingo was his name. Oh.
Here's what you do is you write into us at Gamestitch.com. Podcast at Gamestitch.com. And you let us know, is Bingo the name of the dog or the farmer?
Right.
I don't want your opinion. I want you to research this and let me know.
And this is simple, too. You can do it on Twitter, too. Just let us know because we're too lazy to care or find out.
Right.
Is Bingo his animal companion, his best friend with 4 legs?
I also want you to let me know if you know anybody named Bingo. And nicknames count.
No one is named Bingo.
You don't know that.
If you take nicknames out of it, I'm 1,000% sure there's no bingos.
You don't know that.
Is somebody mudding where you're at?
I think it's a vacuuming up above us.
Okay. It sounds like someone's out there just fucking tear-assing through some mud.
Yeah, no, because I don't think so, because there's not really a monster truck track out there.
Okay. Well, I just assume because here there's always a monster truck track somewhere.
Right.
Close.
Right, but you live in the South.
Well, I mean...
That's what people do in their spare time.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for supporting the show. Thanks for being here. We'll be back next week. We know this one's kind of short, but it is what it is. Short, fat, but it fills the gap. Thanks for listening.
What do you mean short? It's an hour and 15 minutes.
We had a little buffer time up front, so it's really like an hour and like 7 minutes, probably 8 minutes.
Okay. When you talked about Denver for 30 minutes?
Look, I wanted to.
It's fine.
Also, Denver smells like weed too.
Well, yeah, because it's legal there.
I forgot to cut. Yeah, it's a little off-putting though when you're eating on the patio somewhere.
I guess I can see that.
You're downwind from a dispensary.
I can kind of see that, yeah.
And you're like, oh, look good, this pizza tastes like weed, so that's cool. Every time the wind blows with this hot-ass fucking water I'm drinking.
Right.
But luckily the person next to you can look and say, if you look at my thumb, that's where I'm at in Michigan.
Right. And then everything's all better.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that.
Episode 171, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Good night.
Good night.